Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chili from Old Town with you today. Um, so now that I've got a table set up, I'd like to go into a little bit more details in some of my videos to maybe help with some dice throwing, dice influence, dice tossing, dice control. You call it as what you want. But today, what I'd like to share with you guys is a little bit about grip, how I do my grip. There's several ways that you can do grip. The method that I have chosen and have been practicing is the three-finger grip with the thumb in the front, the three fingers in the back. All right, so one thing that I want to talk about first is the grip itself. Three fingers in the back. You want to get these three fingers in the back. These four, the three fingers here and the thumb is going to be the ones you use. So pinky finger is not going to be used. Thing that you want to do about grip, you want to get the dice tight as you can together. On the set, whatever set you choose, you always want to place the set and then get these two fingers as your pincher fingers, as I refer to them as, the thumb and the middle finger is your pincher fingers. These two fingers right here are what I refer to as the wings. Think of it as like a fuselage on an airplane. The fuselage, refer to these two fingers as your fuselage, these two fingers as your wings, because without the wings on a plane, your fuselage would never stay balanced. It couldn't fly without the wings. So I like to refer to the pincher fingers as your fuselage, these two fingers as your wings. So what I do, I set my dice. Of course, I like to use a 5-3, 5-3, but that's not what we're talking about today's setting. We're talking about grip. So I use this finger. I place it on the board. That's my first move. Well, excuse me. First move, set my dice to what I want them. Put them in a comfortable position to where you find to be a comfortable spot on the table. I've found to be somewhere on the don't pass bar to be a comfortable spot for me to place my dice. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this finger to get my hand set. That way I have a steady way to grab the dice. So again, we get the dice, we set them to whatever set we like. We get them tight this way. We don't want them separated out here. We don't want them moved up and down this way. We want to get them tight together. The way I get them tight is I use these two fingers to pinch them together, squeeze them together. Once I get them squeezed together, I use this finger on the felt to just steady my hand up. I use the pincher fingers. Remember, the pincher fingers are these two. Remember, pincher, middle finger, and thumb is what I refer to as pincher fingers. I squeeze them with these two fingers, the pincher fingers. Then I bring the two that I refer to as the wing fingers in, just as balancing. Just as wings do on the airplane, I use these two fingers on the back as my wing fingers. So here we go. We get the dice, we set them to the set we desire, we place them comfortably in a position on the board, we have them tight, this finger sets, it just holds my hand steady so I can get a good pinch with the two pincher fingers. Once I get the pinch, I bring the two wing fingers in. That way, I have my thumb squared up on the front because what I want to do is catch the center of the dice on the front with my thumb. I want to catch the middle center of the dice on the back with my pincher finger, and I'm going to bring these two fingers in as my wing fingers, but I want to line them up on the back. All across the pilts is what I want. The angle of the camera is probably not that great because I'm trying to do this my hand all the way upside down. So let me try it again, maybe from a different view. Like this, maybe. Finger on the board to steady my hand. Pincher fingers grabbing. Two wing fingers going down and meeting with the back pincher finger so that I have lined up my three fingers across the dice on the pips. I just want the least amount of grab that I have to get on the dice. So I just want my thumb and my back fingers just barely catching the dice on the pips, if at all possible. And that's the three finger grip, guys. Now, once we get the grip, then it's all about the set on the lineup on the table. We're not going to line up right now on the table. We're just going to look at the grip a couple more times. So when the dealer stick man passes you the dice are out. First thing, you want to get your dice set, whatever you desire. You want to squeeze them. You want to have them together tight. You want them lined up on the backs and front, and you want them squeezed together from side to side. Next thing you want to do is place them. So this is basically how I grab my dice from the very start, 4 ways. These two fingers squeezing them together, the pincher finger and the thumb squeezing them together this way. And then I let them rest on the table. And I do take this finger and just slide them just a little so that they are very tight. So I'm just pushing them together that way. Then this finger, I set it on the board to steady my hand. Then I have to pinch the dice. It's all important in the pinch because what you're trying to do, you want the thumb lined up, center of the front of the dice. See here, there is no gap here. These dice are tight, they're even. So I picked them two dice up with the pincher finger and the thumb. But notice something else. My thumb has to be orientated a certain direction. Along with orientating my pincher finger and thumb this way, I have to orientate it this way. All this movement makes a difference. It takes a lot of repetitions to accomplish what you're trying to get. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. It all matters, the consistency of how you pick these dice up, how you orientate your fingers, and how much dice coverage when you pinch them. All this matters. As this grip, you notice the front is tight, the back is tight. We have these dice picked up tight. I can't put two fingers on the dice and squeeze them like this and then grip them like this. If I could, every single time I should have the perfect grip, but I can't do that. So what I have to do is learn how to keep them tight and pick them up. So what I want to accomplish is my thumb being centered of the front with just a little bit of the pip showing. On the back, I want my middle finger pinching in the center of the two dice, the wing fingers finishing off the grip in the back, 3-finger grip, front thumb, so that I have 3-finger grip, dice tight together, thumb lined up to where it is basically a 90-degree angle from the thumb to the dice. 90-degree from this side of the thumb back to the dice, 90-degree angle from this thumb back to the dice. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't need my thumb cocked way over here sideways. I don't need it cocked way over here sideways. You notice what I'm showing you. I don't need my thumb at an angle like that. I need my thumb to be straight up and down on the dice. That particular motion of the thumb, that particular orientation of the thumb. That way, when I get ready to set my hand on the table, my thumb right here is straight in line with the backboard. Basically, my thumb is parallel to the wall right here. And more importantly, my thumb, if I remove the dice and held my thumb is parallel to these lines right here. If they're parallel to these lines, it's parallel to the backboard. It's exactly 90 degrees perpendicular to the back wall. That way, on my throw, my thumb is already got the dice lined up where they need to be. Now, so let's relook at this. I'm going to cut this video off, but I want to go a time or two again about the grip. We will get into setting our hand and throwing dice later. First part that we're talking about is you get the dice from the stick man. You set them to your desired set. I like a 5-3, 5-3 hard set. We can do 3-2. We can do 6-5, 6-5 cross set. We can do whatever set. That does not matter. Right now, we get the dice. We squeeze them tight together, side to side, like this. But you can't do this with two hands. Keep in mind, you can't grab and use two hands on the table. You have to do all this motion with one hand. So set your dice on the desired set. Line them up in a particular area. For me, it's in this don't pass bar. And my table actually has me about on these two bar sixes right here, on the double sixes right here, on my layout. That has me about 8.5 foot away from my wall. Even if I was back here, it doesn't matter about that part. It doesn't matter about the sixes. You don't have to line up there, but it does matter how far out you set them here, how close to the wall you set them here. That's another part that will determine how your hand orientates this way. Because if you have them way out here and you grab them, you're going to have more, the thumb's going to be pressed a lot further down on the dice, and your pincher finger on the back is going to be way up. If you bring them closer here, it's going to go right out. So your pincher finger is going to go further down on the back of the dice, and your thumb's going to be further up. So you have to find, with repetition and practice, you have to find the sweet spot of where to set the dice, how to pick them up, because it all matters how far your hands, it all matters right here, how your thumb, how your finger is orientated. All this makes a difference on the consistency of the toss. What you have to do is get consistent on where to position the dice, whether it be further away from you or closer to you. You have to find that with practice and repetitions. That is something I cannot show you. I can only show you what works for me. For me, going inside this don't pass bar works the best for me. Now, so once we get the dice, we set to the desired set we want. We place them to where we've found to be the sweet spot for, as I've already mentioned, further away or closer to me. To me, it's inside this pass bar. Now, I am just going to take my this middle finger. Hang on. That's my wild yard dogs in here growling and acting up. Sorry, guys, for the interruption. Here we go. So, I'm going to take the pincher finger and I'm going to just slide them just a little bit, just to keep them real good and tight. Then I'm going to take this finger, I'm going to use it to steady my hand. So it is on the board, and that's just to steady my hand so that when I grab the dice, without that finger, when I go to grab the dice, if I push on them too much, it kicks them out in the front. If I push on them too far in the back with this finger, it pushes them, it pushes them out in front, and the same if I take my thumb and push on them too much. Let me turn them that way and let me show you, see about what I'm trying to show you. If I take my finger and I don't have my finger holding my hand steady and I just try to grab them, a lot of times, instead of me grabbing them together at once, I won't get one finger in there and it'll push them like that, and they'll separate either the front or the back. That's why I take that finger to steady my hand. I've just done figured that finger steadies my hand real good. All right, so I got them real tight together. I use all 4 fingers to get them real good and tight and even. And I set them down. Then I use that finger just to push them completely the rest of the way up. Use this finger to sit on the table to steady my hand. Pincher fingers, it's the thumb and the pincher finger. And I want to just barely pick them up. But when I pick them up, I want that thumb to be perpendicular. That's just a little bit off. So let me reset. It just takes a lot of practice here, guys. It takes a lot of repetitions of picking these dice up, picking them up and setting them down, shaking them up like the dealer was passing them to you, stickman is passing them to you, setting them, picking them up, setting them down. Toss them around a little bit, pick them up, set them down. It just repetition, 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 repetition. You're not going to get this quick. This takes time. But what you want to finish with, once you get the 2 pincher finger, which is the pincher finger and thumb, once you get the dice picked up like this, I immediately take my 2 wing fingers and I place on the back. I've got the pips. I've just barely got the pips covered. I don't even have the pips all the way covered. I only have parts of the pips covered. About 2/3 of the pips are covered with my 3 fingers at the back. The 3 fingers, mine are so much different. A lot of people's fingers are closer to even. The length of my 3 fingers are so much different that the best method for me that I've found is to do what I just showed you. Set this finger to steady my hand, reach down with the pincher fingers and pick up, and then move the 2 wing fingers in. It's just repetition to where I can get those 3, so I got all 3 fingers even across the back. The thumb is orientated to where it's got some of the pip showing. But now I'm in a position at this point, after I pick it up, I'm in a position to put my hand on the board, whether I want to drop my dice this way to the table, whether I want to leave them up and keep this cup in my hand. We'll go into that part in the next video. This video, again, is probably went a lot longer than I intended for it to. But we're going to go through this real quick this time, and I'm just going to pick them up and show you. So the dealer passes them to me like this. Dice out, he says. I look at them and twist them the way I want them. I get them on my set, squeeze them with all 4 fingers so they're tight. Then when I let them go, they're going to stick to my fingers just a little bit, so they're going to separate just a little, but not much. So that's why I take the ring finger, middle finger, and I just barely slide them. That way they are tight as they're going to get right there. I don't want to give them a lot of sliding, because if I do, it's going to move them from the backs being even. So I just give them just a little nudge just to make sure they're tight. Then I take that finger, steady my hand, and I pick them up like that. I place my 2 wing fingers on the back, and I am at the motion. I am in the position now to place my hand on the table to be able to shoot. Now, we're not going to get into the shooting part right now. We're not going to get into the release. We're not going to get into the swing or any of the hand setting or anything right now. Just want to go through once more, maybe twice more quickly on the pickup. The dealer slides me the dice out. I take them, put them on my set, side by side. 4 fingers to tighten them up. 4 fingers. These 2 fingers, the pincher finger and the thumb, just to get them tight. Once I get them tight, I take this finger and just barely slide them just to make sure they're completely tight. Take this finger, set on the board just to get my hand steady. I use the pincher finger and the thumb to grip and I put the 2 fingers on the back as the wings. Once more, I'm going to wrap it up. The dealer passes them to me. Dice are out. First thing, I put them on my desired set. I put them in my area that I want to be able to grab them with. Four fingers to squeeze them tight, left and right, and say east, west, north, and south. I use 4 fingers to squeeze them tight. East, west, north, south. I use this finger just to barely finish up tightening them together. This finger goes on the table to steady my hand. Pincher finger and thumb squeeze dice together at the same time, and the 2 wing fingers finish the grip off in the back, like that. I know this is hard for me to show you this because I'm trying to kick my hand up, but I'm hoping that this makes sense to you. I really hope that this makes sense to what I'm trying to show. I will go into further details later, but as I said, Chili from O-Town. I have my channel up. I'm going to start trying to be a little bit informative and go into a little more details other than just plain shooting dice. I want to expand my channel. I want to reach out to the dice community and help if I can. Any feedback is always helpful for me. Thumbs up if you like my video, guys. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bells for the notifications, guys. I will be doing more and more videos as the days and weeks pass. All the subscriptions I can get, I need, guys. All the feedback. Don't hesitate, guys. I appreciate you watching. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscribe button, guys. And this is Chili from O-Town. Dice are out.